Have you ever walked out of a grocery store, glanced down at your receipt in the parking lot, and felt a sudden inexplicable sense that you just paid too much? You didn't buy anything extravagant. You didn't deviate from your usual list. It was just the standard weekly run: milk, eggs, bread, a box of cereal, some laundry detergent. Yet, the final number at the bottom of the receipt was significantly higher than the mental math you were doing while walking down the aisles. For most of us, that feeling lasts about 3 seconds. We shrug it off, blame inflation, start the car, and drive home. But what if inflation isn't the only thing quietly draining your wallet? What if the numbers you read on the physical shelves simply do not match the numbers the computer charges you at the register? Recently, shoppers across the country started noticing exactly that. They began paying closer attention. They took pictures of the price tags in the aisles and compared them, line by line, to their final printed receipts. And what they discovered wasn't a minor rounding error. It was a systemic pricing mismatch built into the very architecture of modern retail, generating untold millions in hidden revenue for massive corporations. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the scanner discrepancy phenomenon. We are going to explore why the price on the shelf and the price in the computer are often two completely different realities, how retailers are quietly exploiting this gap, and how their brand new, multi-billion-dollar technological solution might actually be the beginning of something much worse for the average consumer: the era of grocery surge pricing. Let's start with a scenario that has played out in thousands of retail aisles, one that might have happened to you just last week, without you even realizing it. A shopper walks into a major retail chain. Let's use Walmart as the primary example, given their massive market footprint. They walk down the cereal aisle and see a family-size box of brand-name cereal. The bright yellow tag on the shelf clearly says $4.98. It's a decent price, perhaps even marked as a rollback or a weekly special. The shopper puts it in their cart. They move on to the dairy section, grabbing a gallon of milk marked at $3.29. They grab some paper towels marked at $14.50. Throughout this journey, the shopper is building a subconscious contract with the store. The store offers a price via a printed label, and the shopper accepts that exact price by placing the item in their physical cart. But modern retail doesn't actually care about the physical tag on the physical shelf. The physical tag is practically a decorative suggestion. When that shopper gets to the self-checkout and scans the barcode on the cereal, the screen flashes $5.98, a full dollar higher than the shelf. The milk scans at $3.69. The paper towels ring up at $15.90. In total, on just 3 items, the shopper is overcharged by $2.80. Now, $2.80 is not going to bankrupt anyone. It is a microtransaction, and that is exactly why it is so brilliantly insidious. The vast majority of consumers, tired from a long workday, wrestling with kids, or just anxious to get home, will never notice a discrepancy of a few dollars spread across a receipt of 40 different items. If they do happen to catch it as it scans, the psychological friction of stopping the transaction, calling over a busy attendant, and waiting for them to go physically verify the shelf price is simply too high. So, we click pay and we leave. But let us do the math on what that exact microtransaction means at scale. Walmart processes approximately 37 million customer transactions every single day worldwide. If a retail system systematically overcharges just 1 out of every 10 customers by a mere $2 due to unmatched shelf tags, that generates over $7 million of unearned revenue per day. That is over $2.5 billion a year, extracted invisibly from consumers a few quarters at a time. It is a ghost tax on the working class. And this isn't just a paranoid internet theory. It is a documented legal reality. In states where departments of agriculture and consumer protection agencies regularly audit grocery stores for scanner accuracy, the results are consistently alarming. For instance, in North Carolina, the Department of Agriculture routinely issues massive fines to dozens of Walmart and Dollar General locations specifically for scanner errors. State inspectors will walk into a store, randomly select 100 items, record the price displayed on the shelf, and then scan those items at the register. By law, if more than 2% of the items scan higher than the shelf price, the store fails the inspection. Store after store, month after month, major retailers fail these exact audits, registering error rates of 5, 10, and sometimes 15%. When confronted with these staggering failure rates, corporate public relations departments always deploy the exact same defense. They claim it is a simple staffing issue. They argue that in a giant supercenter containing over 140,000 unique SKUs, that is, stock-keeping units, prices change so rapidly that human employees simply cannot print and replace the paper tags fast enough to keep up with the central computer system. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the anatomy of algorithmic retail pricing. 20 years ago, the manager of a local grocery store had significant control over pricing based on local inventory. Today, local managers have almost zero control. Pricing for massive chains is dictated by centralized, AI-driven algorithms housed in corporate data centers hundreds of miles away. These systems analyze a breathtaking amount of data in real time: competitor pricing, local weather forecasts, historical demand curves, supply chain bottlenecks, and inflation indices. If the algorithm detects that a competing grocery chain across the street just raised the price of orange juice, the central server instantly updates the price of orange juice in the main point-of-sale database for that specific store. The moment that database updates, any orange juice scanned at the register will charge the new, higher price. However, the physical paper tag on the actual physical shelf does not magically change itself. It requires a human employee to receive a digital alert, go to a back-office printer, print a new batch of adhesive labels, walk out to the specific aisle, locate the exact item, peel off the old sticker, and apply the new one. In a modern retail environment operating with skeleton crews to maximize profit margins, this physical labor is always the bottleneck. Corporate headquarters might push 5,000 price changes to a single store in a single week. The database updates in milliseconds. The physical tags might take days to be updated by overwhelmed employees. This creates a structural lag time. During this lag time, the physical shelf displays an outdated, lower price, tricking the consumer into making a purchasing decision, while the register quietly enforces the new, higher algorithmic price. And beautifully, for the retailer, this logistical failure almost exclusively works in their financial favor. It is a system where the corporation's inefficiency acts as a direct profit center. When a customer does catch the error, the store simply apologizes, refunds the difference, and blames the paper tag. It is the perfect, legally defensible crime. But as public awareness of scanner discrepancies grows, and as state regulators increase their fines, retailers are finally making a move to fix the problem. However, their highly publicized solution is not about protecting your wallet. It is about fundamentally transforming the psychology of buying food. Enter the electronic shelf label, or ESL. If you have walked into a major grocery chain recently, you might have noticed a quiet technological revolution taking place on the edge of the shelves. The familiar paper stickers are being aggressively ripped out and replaced by sleek digital screens. These are electronic shelf labels. Walmart recently announced a massive rollout of these digital tags across thousands of their locations. Whole Foods, Kroger, and Amazon Fresh are adopting them at a breakneck pace. To the naked eye, these small digital displays look relatively simple. They use e-ink technology, very similar to an Amazon Kindle, which means they consume almost zero electricity once an image is rendered on the screen. But beneath that simple display is a sophisticated piece of networked infrastructure. Every single digital tag in the store is wirelessly connected via proprietary radio frequencies to ceiling-mounted transmitters, which are directly hardwired into the store's central pricing server. The corporate pitch to the public regarding these digital tags sounds fantastic. Retailers claim that ESLs will completely eliminate the frustrating scanner discrepancies we just talked about. Because the digital tag and the cash register are now talking to the exact same central database, the price you see on the aisle will always, mathematically, be the exact price you pay at the checkout. They also pitch the environmental angle, saving millions of miles of paper and ink. It sounds like a perfect technological upgrade, but you have to look closer at what this technology actually enables. By eliminating the physical bottleneck of human labor required to change paper tags, retailers haven't just synchronized their pricing. They have removed the only physical barrier standing between the grocery aisle and real-time dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing, sometimes called surge pricing, is a concept we are all intimately familiar with in the digital world. If you try to book an Uber at 5 p.m. during a rainstorm, the algorithm knows demand is high and supply is low, so the price of the ride instantly doubles or triples. If you buy an airline ticket for Thanksgiving week, you pay significantly more than you would for a Tuesday in February. We have reluctantly accepted this economic model for travel and transportation, but historically, the grocery industry has been shielded from real-time surge pricing by the physical limitations of paper tags. You cannot have employees running down the aisles with a pricing gun every 20 minutes. The electronic shelf label completely shatters that limitation. With ESLs, a retailer can change the price of 10,000 items in a store in less than 5 seconds, with the push of a single button at corporate headquarters. This fundamentally alters the power dynamic between the buyer and the seller. Imagine walking into a grocery store on a Friday evening, right before a forecasted winter blizzard. The store's algorithm, tracking local weather data and real-time inventory levels, recognizes that panic buying is about to begin. Automatically, without human intervention, the digital tags for bottled water, bread, batteries, and milk update. The price increases by 15%. By Saturday morning, when the storm passes and demand drops, the prices digitally revert to normal. Or consider time of day pricing. The algorithm knows that the store is highly congested between 4:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. as people get off work and rush to buy ingredients for dinner. With digital tags, the store can implement a rush hour premium. The price of fresh chicken breasts, pre-cut vegetables, and quick prep meals quietly ticks up by 50 cents during those exact 2 hours, maximizing profit when consumer price sensitivity is at its lowest, because people are just desperate to get home and eat. This is not science fiction. It is the explicit business model being pitched by the tech companies manufacturing these digital labels. In their investor presentations, they do not just sell accuracy. They sell agile pricing, margin optimization, and real-time demand capture. They are selling the Uberification of the American grocery store. When confronted about this possibility by consumer advocates, retail executives are quick to deny that they will use digital tags for punishing surge pricing. They frame it using positive corporate spin, suggesting that dynamic pricing will actually allow them to offer flash sales and lower prices on perishable goods that are nearing their expiration date. But history is a harsh teacher. When corporate entities are given an untethered technological capability to extract maximum value from a captive audience, they inevitably use it. The grocery store is a unique environment. You can choose not to take an Uber. You can choose not to fly to Cancun. You cannot choose not to eat. Food is a non-negotiable human necessity, which makes the demand curve highly inelastic. If the price of bread goes up on a Tuesday afternoon, you still have to buy the bread. This brings us to a fascinating shift in consumer psychology. For over a century, the grocery store has been a place of relative price stability and predictability. You generally knew what a gallon of milk cost. You could build a mental budget for your family before you even left your house. That predictability allowed working-class families to survive tight financial margins. The digital pricing revolution destroys that predictability. It transforms the physical aisles of a supermarket into something resembling a stock market trading floor, where prices fluctuate based on invisible algorithms designed to test the absolute maximum threshold of what you are willing to pay at any given hour. It creates an environment of perpetual cognitive load for the shopper. You can no longer just memorize the cost of your favorite items. You have to constantly evaluate if you are buying it at the right time of day. Furthermore, this technology opens the door to incredibly invasive targeted pricing, especially when combined with loyalty apps. If you scan your store app when you walk in, the store knows your entire purchasing history. The digital tags could, theoretically, communicate via Bluetooth with your phone. The price displayed on the electronic label for a specific brand of coffee might actually change dynamically as you walk down the aisle, based on the algorithm's knowledge of how brand loyal you are to that coffee. If the data says you buy it every single week regardless of price, the system has no incentive to offer you a discount. It might actually display a slightly higher price specifically for you, while displaying a lower price to the person walking behind you to entice them to try it. While this level of hyper-personalized physical pricing is still in its infancy, the hardware being installed right now makes it entirely possible. This is the ultimate imbalance of modern retail. We are living in an era where corporations are investing tens of billions of dollars into advanced technology to optimize their margins down to the absolute penny. They use artificial intelligence to predict our behavior, facial recognition to prevent theft, and dynamic digital tags to squeeze every last cent of profit out of real-time demand. Yet, when their legacy systems fail, when the paper tag says $3 and the register charges $4, the burden of enforcing fairness falls entirely on the exhausted, overworked consumer. The system relies on our fatigue. It relies on the fact that we don't want to hold up the line. It relies on the social awkwardness of arguing over $1.20 with a cashier who has absolutely no power to fix the structural issue anyway. The transition to electronic shelf labels is being marketed to us as a solution to this exact fatigue. They are telling us, don't worry, the digital tag will always match the register. You can trust the system again. But we are simply trading one form of exploitation for a much more efficient, highly polished one. We are trading the clumsy, accidental overcharge of a paper tag for the clinical algorithmic extraction of surge pricing. So, what is the defense mechanism against a system designed to outsmart you at every turn? It starts with breaking the habit of blind trust. First, until the paper tags are completely gone, you must treat the shelf price as a hypothesis, not a fact. Take photos of the tags for expensive items with your phone as you put them in your cart. When you get to the register, watch the screen like a hawk. Do not look at your phone. Do not space out. Watch every single item scan. If there is a discrepancy, stop the transaction. Yes, it is annoying. Yes, the people in line behind you might sigh. But every time you force a retailer to honor the lower shelf price, you are rejecting their ghost tax. You are refusing to subsidize their logistical failure. Second, as digital tags roll out, we have to start paying attention to pricing patterns. We need to notice if the store we shop at is quietly raising prices on Friday afternoons. We need to be willing to shift our shopping habits to disrupt their algorithmic models, or shift our loyalty to local grocers who refuse to implement surge pricing on basic human necessities. The retail industry operates on the fundamental assumption that consumers are generally passive. They believe that if they change the rules of the game slowly enough and dress the changes up as technological progress, we will simply adapt and hand over our money. But an educated consumer is the one variable their algorithms cannot perfectly control. When you understand how the system is engineered to extract wealth, you stop being a passive participant and start becoming an active defender of your own value. The numbers on the shelf are not just ink or digital pixels. They are the front line of $1 billion battle for your paycheck. It is time we started paying attention to the math. Have you ever caught a grocery store overcharging you at the register compared to the shelf tag? Did you fight it? Or did you just let it go because you were in a hurry? I really want to hear your stories in the comments below. Drop your experiences, because the more we talk about these silent discrepancies, the more power we take back. If this breakdown changed the way you look at your grocery receipt, hit the like button, share this with someone who does the shopping in your house, and subscribe for more deep dives into the invisible systems that shape our daily lives.